Oh.
Mom!
This is a segment called Make It Make Sense, where we're going to watch a video and we're going to try and make it make sense.
I don't raise rents, believe it or not.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Really.
Why not?
My thought is if I have a really good tenant who always pays on time and no issues, I would rather just not raise the rent and keep them there a long time. And if they do move out, then it's kind of like gravy to me because I'm able to rent it out for even more to the next tenant and then tell them they could stay there as long as they want at that price.
Yeah.
And for me, I've had some tenants now for 7 or 8 years.
Oh,
Well,
wow.
This feels relevant to you.
He's
Have
so
you had a
nice.
kind landlord?
He's so nice, hoarding property. He doesn't even raise the rent. Like, give me a freaking break. I'm sorry, are we giving out cookies for like the bare ass minimum?
In Australia, we have this thing where there's so many empty investment properties. There's a guy, his name's Purple Pingers, and he's talking about the squatting rights and things like that and how they apply to people because there's people who are experiencing homelessness.
Yeah.
Rental prices are so high, but there's so many empty properties and it's wild.
It's so frustrating. I mean, it's just, I have kind of made peace with the fact that I don't know that I'll ever be able to buy something here because while I've saved my money, like the things that are available to me, it's just like, I'm not gonna spend $1 million on a 1-bedroom house. Which is a thing. I didn't know those existed, but they do here. It's just like so self-aggrandizing to be like, I don't even raise the rent, but when they leave, I jack it up. Like, okay, great job. Like,
I mean, I guess there's like a spectrum of landlords. I mean, landlords could only
get a job.
Get a real job.
Get a real job. Contribute to society. Like, you don't do anything. I'm sorry.
Take on the summer with nutritious 2-minute meals from Factor. You just heat up and enjoy, and it gives you more time to do what you want, like taking a hike or hopping on a week. Factor meals pack in the flavor, and there is no fuss. So get started at factormeals.com/Courtney50off and use code Courtney50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box.
Right, what's the next video?
29. 1, 2, 3. 30. 1, 2, 3.
Hold that sledgehammer in the air with both hands. Like a bench press. Like a bench press.
Kill. One.
Why? Why are men?
I don't understand. Is this like a new CrossFit or I'm just so confused. Like, why are they doing this?
Are these men trying? Is this like some sort of weird?
Just go to therapy. Like, that's what we want you to do.
That is real.
Talk to somebody. Talk to that lady. Don't do this.
Spend that money on therapy.
This also looks very dangerous. He's squirting water into their mouth as they're laying down. I feel like that's a choking hazard.
Hey, they're men.
Is that going to help
They
you
can
be
handle
more
it.
manly? I don't think so. Oh, God.
Happened to one of my older boys. I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys. This was before I had really any understanding of what was going on, and we had COVID going on. There was a lot of confusion. You know, I was told, oh, he, might commit suicide. It's incredibly evil, and I agree with you that people that have been promoting this should go to prison. So I was tricked into doing this. You know, it wasn't explained to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs. I lost my son, essentially. So, you know, they call it dead naming for a reason. So the reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son is dead, killed by the woke mind virus. So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that.
The woke mind virus. That means nothing. I just think it's interesting that someone like Elon can proclaim to be like so smart, but then by his own admission signed things that he didn't read.
Right.
So why is this person having access to our personal information?
I often think about like queer people being born into families as one of the great reasons that opinions on queer people have shifted so easily and well, not easily, but has happened at the rate that it has. But it's fascinating to see that Elon Musk can't find a shred of empathy for their child.
Yeah, it's really heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And I think to your point, the fact that he can't find empathy for his child makes me nervous that he is being given so much power because if you're not able to empathize with someone that's a member of your own family, like how can I expect you to show empathy for anybody else's experience?
Yeah.
And I will say his daughter, who I will properly gender because that's who she is, she's been very vocal about calling him out on social media and kind of trolling him and throwing it back in his face. I can't imagine that that's been easy for her, but I'm really inspired and proud of her for like just standing up for herself in that way. But yeah, this whole like woke mind virus thing, again, like what does that mean? What does woke mind virus even mean? Like it's just such an ambiguous phrase.
All of the things that we're talking about are things that actually make the world a better place for the greatest number of people, right? We're trying to, and I guess what Elon's talking about is like him, his money, and things that will, it's just, I don't know, it's a fascinating thing. And but the effectiveness of this term, woke mind virus.
Yeah, it's a dog whistle, but it's also, it just makes people like get riled up. And to your point about, you know, making the world a better place, like I don't think there's anything wrong with letting someone be who they are. Like his child expressed that this is who they are, and she seems a lot happier for it. And so it's not hurting anyone for her to just live her truest life. And so this insistence that like we have to kill the woke mind virus is really just, again, a dog whistle for saying like we don't want queer people to exist, which is really troubling.
I mean, if you look back at a bunch of Elon Musk's sort of history and tweets and things like that, there's some pro-LGBT stuff in there, and it feels like he's been somehow radicalized. And
he just seems like a loser. He just seems like a loser. I mean, you're 53 years old, and he sits on Twitter, and I'm not calling it X, being a troll.
We're dead naming it.
Throw that back in your face. He strikes me as someone who kind of, you know, in the tone of what we've been talking about, is deeply unhappy. Because how are you supposedly the richest man in the world, and you're on Twitter sharing like you know, racist, homophobic, transphobic memes, blocking people, just being like antagonistic all day long? It's like you don't have enough. You don't have enough money.
Where's your joy?
Exactly. Where's your joy? Well, and the joy seems to only come from being nasty to other people.
Or just having more. It's almost like there might be a lack of a joy center.
Yes. I mean, you are...
And a lack of an empathy center,
Yeah, you're
certainly.
searching for external things to make you happy. And ultimately, if you're not right within yourself, none of those things are going to actually make you happy. And, you know, I would feel sad for him if he wasn't so dangerous and terrible. But I do think the lesson there is that we need to all kind of work on our own internal healing before seeking external things to make us happy, because it just won't work.
I think spending money on therapy instead of a how to be masculine course is
oh my God,
a great first step.
Yeah, absolutely.
Summer is my season. More sun, more light, more time to do all of the things that you love. And you know what you don't want to be doing all summer is spending hours cooking inside. That is where Factor comes in. Factor's chef-crafted, dietitian-approved meals are ready in just 2 minutes. Factor has got 45 weekly menu options, and you can pick gourmet meals that fit your summer gains and goals. Choose from options like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, Keto, and more. And Factor meals arrive fresh and they're ready to eat, perfect for any active lifestyle. With nutritious breakfasts, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts, Factor has got your whole day covered. I just had the 3-bean vegan chili with cornbread casserole. It was so good. And I just love that I can get a whole meal hot and ready to go in just 2 minutes in the microwave. Get Factor if you want all of the flavor and none of the fuss, so you can enjoy your summer. Get started at factormeals.com/Courtney50off and use code Courtney50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code Courtney50off at factormeals.com/Courtney50off for 50% off plus free shipping.
Was it during lockdown you decided to make over your rental?
Yes. So I moved to LA in the midst of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then I was acting on a show, and this was, you know, before we had a vaccine. And so I was spending all of my off work time at home and started just painting my apartment and documenting the process on TikTok. And it went super viral. It upset a lot of landlords because I proudly proclaimed that I'm not going to get my deposit back, and I'm fine. I'm totally okay with that. I've decided that it's long gone. But it inspired a lot of people too. and led to me creating my own line of peel and stick wallpaper.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, it's kind of the wildest things to see my creations from my wall, like in other people's apartments.
Other people's homes.
Yeah, it's been really cool.
And they're very bold.
Yeah.
Primary colors.
Yeah, I love shapes. I don't know why. I just have always been somebody that's loved circles and brush strokes and things that look really handmade. So I painted everything like in my journal, and then I scanned them. I went to school for graphic design and then created
Another
these.
talent.
You know, I'm a Jill of all trades.
You gotta be these days, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I just am somebody who has always been super creative. And I really credit my parents for giving me this space to pursue all of the different things. So it's been really cool that even though I work as an actor and as a writer, I've been able to incorporate design into my work too.
Yeah. I'm of that generation. I know I was born in the early 80s, and mum and dad were always very supportive. I remember like getting the computer and just bashing around on it, learning how to use it. And it was sort of this youthful fearlessness. And then when it came to the internet, just trying everything, working out how to like, I don't know, some code here or something there, or trying to use Photoshop.
I went to computer camp in like 8th grade and learned how to code. I got like a bootleg copy of Photoshop from a boy that I liked. And so I was really into design. And similarly to your parents, my parents were just like, okay, you want a computer? Fine, just go for it. And kind of went wild.
Is that where your interest in graphic design began, from a bootleg Photoshop?
Yeah, so I didn't really know it was called graphic design. I actually went to acting school initially for college. And then while I was at acting school, I got a job at the School of Public Health working on their website. And all of my HTML skills were mostly like self-taught and a little bit that I had picked up at camp. But I was making like $20 an hour, which was, you know, I was like, wait a second, fuck acting school. So I left acting school to study graphic design. And I really wanted to do web design, but the school that I went to didn't have it. So I was like, all right, graphic design it is.
You left acting school.
I did. I was only in acting school for 2 years. Yeah, so I have half of an acting degree that I'm still paying for.
You're putting to good use, though.
Yes, I am. But I am getting to use my design skills, too, which is really cool.
Where can people get the wallpaper?
It's at thisisautostudio.com. You can also just search Franchesca Ramsey peel and stick wallpaper, and it'll come right up.
And if people have peel and stick wallpaper, they could possibly get their deposit back.
My deposit is gone. Yours will be secure with peel and stick wallpaper, absolutely.
Good.
Ad-free versions and extended episodes of RnR with Courtney Act are available on Mum Plus Gold at patreon.com/mumplus.
I never thought the levels would hit my face.
Okay.
So